Y'all still got your popcorn? Yeah. Oh boy. Woo! Something about these frauds, man. Something about these communists. These commies. This thing is getting spicier and spicier, man, every single day, y'all. We're only 17 days out, man. We encourage everybody to go out and vote. But the Candace Owens investigation continues. This is huge, y'all. And if you missed last video, make sure you go check it out. But man, someone says to fake a grandma is the lowest rock bottom of moral lows. We need that Judge Joe Brown interview at this point. Man, this is what real journalism looks like. Oh man, you know there's some older ladies playing dominoes in Jamaica right now, spilling all the tea on Beryl. Whoo! Man. Someone says, who else is glad this woman was freed from the Daily Wire? I told y'all, man, some of the top hitters, man, that they got fired are doing are doing God's work right now. I'm just being real, you know. We can go down the list. Tucker Carlson, or we can just go down the list. Man. But prayers for Candace Owens, man. I tell you, people disappear, you know, for being on this type of timing. I'm just being real, man. Prayers and love to all my content creators, man. To all my beautiful patriots, man. To the ones reposting, to the ones sharing the videos, to the ones, you know, that are against the corrupt media, that are not falling for the lies and all the crap that they're spewing out, man. Love to them beautiful patriots. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. We need to make common sense great again. I'm just being honest. You know, we got to get DJT back in there. So make sure you go out and vote. It has to be too big to rig, because like as you can see, we are not against a candidate. We are against a corrupt machine. You know, frauds. You know, somebody call Obama. Call Barry. Tell him his time's up. His time's up. Tell Big Mike. She been eating that hot dog. Wipe that ketchup off her. That ain't lipstick. Wipe that ketchup off her lips. And tell Hillary that chicken ain't spicy enough. You should keep shaking that hot sauce on there like that, Hillary, like that. When you get done shaking that hot sauce, Hillary, hands behind your back. Yeah. Let me look. It says a deeper dive into who really is Kamala's grandmother and a look back on Obama's childhood nanny. Oh, well, let's go get into the video, y'all. Let me stop wasting time and talking. But again, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We're continuing this whole series and just keeping it real, man, with these frauds, you know, that are running off joy and identity politics. First black woman president. And again, I don't care what she is, what race, black, white, Filipino, Latina, Caucasian. I don't care what she is. It comes to the point, is she qualified? You know, and people should be voting policy, not identity politics, policy. Is she qualified? And the woman ain't even qualified, didn't earn it. DEI didn't earn it. And then she comes out and speaks. I think she's drunk. Drunk entire inventory. She's drunk. No way around it. Incompetent. Can't go off the script. You know, repeats the same thing. And I'm sick of hearing the same. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the lies. And these puppets that will say anything to get elected. And we're just going to blame everything on Trump. Let's play the blame game. Let's just blame everything on Trump. 12 out of the 16 years, let's just blame everything on Trump. You know, it's Trump's fault. Trump said this. Trump said that. Forget about me. I don't have a plan. I don't know. I don't even know. I just want to blame Trump. It's sick, man. And there are some people that are actually stupid enough to fall for this crap. So let's just be real here. It's a disgrace, man. But let me stop talking. I apologize, y'all.
All right, guys, it's the end of the week. You know, back in 2020, Black people were really asking for the world, and I was not with it. You guys know that I was staunchly against it. BLM was making all sorts of crazy demands. It was just a mess. But now fast forward and it's 2024, and Black people really came into this election with just a different energy, not asking really for much or really anything. We simply asked that the Jackson family be left alone and that people be a little bit more considerate than to wash their greens where they wash their asses. And Kamala, for whatever reason, could not abide us. She just could not abide us. And that is exactly how we got here. I want to remind you of that. Also, my brain is melting right now because I don't know if I'm the last person on earth to know this, and this was like big news or somehow I missed it. But were you guys aware that Barack Obama's nanny from when he was in Indonesia, in school in Indonesia with his stepdaddy, was transgendered? Because I just learned that and I'm just going, what on earth is happening? There is way too much synergy here between Emmanuel Macron's upbringing, what we've learned about Emmanuel Macron, Barack Obama's upbringing, and now Kamala.
We still ain't seen the pictures. Yeah. Somebody tell Big Mike to wipe that ketchup and mustard off her face. Big Mike. Yeah.
Upbringing. It's making me a little uncomfortable. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Candace. All right, so yesterday was absolutely an insane day. We are being inundated. I mean, practically inundated with emails, tidbits, tips, some of them leading to nowhere, some of them leading to some things that we are extremely curious about. And that is why I'm so grateful that we are coming upon the weekend where we get to look into everything thoroughly and come back on Monday with things better fleshed out. Again, we don't want to make any mistakes. Today is Friday, so I want to spend time getting everyone focused on what these next steps are of our investigation, because I might be leading the investigation, but this has only been possible because everyone out there is participating. I mean, all around the world, we are getting tips. People that went to school with Barack Obama telling us things and saying, I don't want my name to be mentioned here. But
you know, it's actually insane, y'all, how we the people, the community, everybody's is in on this, man. And everybody like, Rick, you cannot miss this one. Rick, please make a video on this. Please make a video to the next Candace episode. Rick, like, it's like we're all in this together, man. And I love that, man. The energy is just unreal, you guys. The energy with MAGA, the energy with this movement, man, it's just unreal, man. And we're sick of this crap. We're sick of these frauds, man. People are not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore.
Just so you know, in his college yearbook, or I guess he said like in the college database, his name was Barry Soetoro, and then they changed it. But people that have spoken out about that have mysteriously gone missing. I mean, we are just learning a lot. And of course, there is the very real fact that I am in contact with members of Kamala's own family. You've noticed I have not shared their names. There's a reason for that. They are asking for some level of protection. She's got a lot of family members, a lot of white family members that just did not make her book, her treasure trove of BS. Someone asked me to succinctly put together everything that we have discovered thus far, because there are many people who are now realizing, no, this is not BS. This is not a conspiracy. Kamala has lied about her upbringing, has lied about her own genealogy, and many people have not been on this entire journey with us. And so I'm just going to sum it up for you very simply, okay? Kamala is completely lying about her heritage. She pulled the good old Barack Obama, dropped a book, an autobiography that was meant to legitimatize her to the Black public. And for whatever reason, in the public's mind, when somebody drops a book and calls it an autobiography, they just assume that somebody along the way did the due diligence, and therefore it must all be true because they found it in the nonfiction segment of the bookstore, a section of the bookstore. And that's just not true. That leaves a lot of room for politicians to lie. And that's exactly what Kamala did. And you can really see when you go through this book that it is just political blackface. She fails to mention that she is majority white. She fails to mention her white family members, her many white family members. And she neglects to mention them entirely, by the way, while going through great pains to instead offer alternative Black relatives. And what am I talking about when I say alternative Black relatives? I mean, they are not her relatives, but she refers to them as uncles and aunts, I mean, as just one example, Uncle Freddie mentioned in 2 pictures. One picture here, visiting my Uncle Freddie in Harlem. Harlem, haha, get it, black people, haha. I like Harlem. I like fried chicken. I like black-eyed peas. Yeah, and it turns out that guy in the background isn't even her Uncle Freddie. Harlem was always a magical place for me. Okay, cool. Then she mentions Uncle Freddie again. Here is her book. I'm blessed with an amazing family. Like, anybody reading that objectively would assume this was her family. I'm blessed with an amazing family. I'll never be able to thank Auntie Chris, Uncle Freddie, and Aunt Mary enough for their constant encouragement and support. They always showed up for me, as they did here at a campaign event for my DA's race that we held at the San Francisco Jazz Club. Jazz Club, get it? Haha, black people, you like jazz. There we are with my auntie and my uncles and my family. And she later in the book, there's like a little paragraph where she explains that actually Uncle Freddie and Aunt Mary are not her real uncles and are her real uncle and aunt at all.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. God family. God family. That's what they call it, y'all. God family. I'm the godmother.
But they were just like family. But she doesn't say anything about that Aunt Chris she mentioned. She just says that Aunt Chris was the reason that she went to Howard. We don't know if it's a real aunt. Well, that we know for sure it's not a real aunt because all of these people are black. The point was just to make people just believe that she had this extraordinarily black experience. Even when she shows photos of her fully Indian grandparents, right, her mother's parents, she sort of gives it this little black spin, like this photo of her maternal grandfather in Africa. Of course, here it is. Grandpa and me when we visited him and my grandmother in Lusaka, Zambia, right? So again, yes, this man traveled. Yes, he was on diplomatic missions. Why did you decide to pick this photo in Africa? Because it's sending a signal. She's trying to blackify herself by every means, any means available to her. And she really has, by the way, kept up this charade since the book. In fact, yesterday, before our episode dropped, she made a poor decision to tweet this. She tweeted, "Growing up, our mother worked long hours, so my sister Maya and I would stay with our neighbor, Mrs. Shelton. She helped my mother take care of us, and we used to call her our second mother." So she has a black second mother. She's got a fake Uncle Freddie. She's got a fake Aunt Mary. She's got a fake Auntie Chris. It's just unbelievable. It's just really unbelievable. And yet all of these real white aunties and uncles were completely ignored. They just didn't make it. And we now know that she had real relationships with these people. So it's quite stunning. It is a lie by omission. Okay, it's a lie by omission when you're going around doing the rounds pretending to be black. The intended message was very clear. Of the book, it's I am black, I'm a Negro, accept me, everyone. See, I'm just like you guys. They ain't like us, she said. They ain't like us. The BET Wars. Girl, they ain't like us. No, Kamala, you ain't like us, okay? You ain't even kind of like us. In fact, you essentially spit in our faces when you do this. It is a minstrel show. Kamala's campaign is a minstrel show. If you are black and you are still voting for her, you should be ashamed of yourself. You have absolutely no dignity to allow this to happen, to have her get caught, and to basically turn the other cheek and go, oh, well, at least she's not Trump. Well, at least Trump is who Trump says he actually is. But of course, it was this photo that immediately caught.
Yeah, she ain't, look, and y'all know it's one love to the human race. I'm not a race baiter, race hustler. Got love for everybody. Care what your skin color. We don't see color. But they ain't getting my black. She ain't getting my black vote. And I've been clear from the start. We see through all this crap. And that's what we plays that Judge Joe Brown clip proudly. I'm telling you, he knew things we didn't. I'm telling you, people have been trying to warn us for a long time. But they had Joe up. They had Joe up there falling down. Had everybody distracted. They had Joe up there falling down. Yeah. Don't know where he at. Yeah. I'm telling you, the Biden-Harris ticket, an absolute disgrace. And we know what took place in 2020, unless you got hit upside the head with a rock. Oh, conspiracy. Oh, you're delusional. Oh, you're losing. No, we know what happened. Too big to rig, y'all.
Our attention. It was the notorious photo of Grandma Beryl. Now, I want to be clear. When this photo caught my attention, I just didn't think it was her grandma because I didn't like the emotional vibes here. It's just not how Caribbean grandmas act. I know I have one or had one. She passed away in 2013. But what is interesting is that so many people had emailed us right away, and these people are obviously, I'm not a techie. They were familiar with Photoshop. A lot of editors saying, Candace, these photos are Photoshopped. You can tell because in each photo of her grandparents, this one and of Iris Finnegan, they don't show the hands. And apparently there is something to do with hands that you can tell that they're just Photoshopping two pictures together. So the operating belief from the army of editors that have emailed us is that actually they took a real photo of Kamala and a real photo of this Black woman, and they just merged them together. And that's why you're not seeing any emotion or interaction between the two. Like, I don't know, I just feel like your grandma would put your arm around her or something. But again, that's a theory. We didn't even report on it until just now because obviously yesterday we dropped the mother of all bombs, a woman named Dorothy who grew up on the island in the presence of the lovely Miss Beryl, who she loved dearly. Dorothy really loved Miss Beryl and was so kind about it, confirmed that the photo was fraudulent. And since we dropped that episode yesterday, it's been crazy. The reason why we're running a little bit late with today's episode is because we've had more phone calls with Kamala's family members. And they have confirmed to us beyond a shadow of a doubt that the person that is pictured in Kamala's book is not the real Miss Beryl. Kamala cannot sue me for that statement. She cannot sue me for defamation. That is not the real Miss Beryl. That is not her grandma Beryl that is in that photo, okay? In fact, this family member tells me that not only is the real Miss Beryl light-skinned, like Kamala, but also that Miss Beryl had a sister, okay, that was even whiter than her, even
told y'all.
lighter than her. Now, my understanding is that Miss Beryl looked to be mixed Indian and Irish. So they would say brown, they call Indians brown and Irish. So that's why when Dorothy recounts this, she's like, Kamala looks so much like her. Apparently she was a little lighter than Kamala, but you would look at Kamala and you might go, okay, that complexion, you would definitely say, could identify that as someone with an Indian complexion, no doubt. And this is, by the way, how we now know definitively that Dorothy is on the money. We are in communication one step closer to getting in touch with Dorothy. We're trying to get her on the show because she also confirmed that Miss Beryl did indeed have another sister that she remembered. Take a listen.
Miss Beryl was a brown-skinned woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
That says it all.
In fact, I remember her sister.
Uh-huh.
I also remember her sister. But yes, remember, as I say, I have, you look back on things in your childhood, and Miss Beryl, I have very fond memories of going back from I was a child. Lovely, a lovely, kind woman that lived in this house with her son.
And the son that she is referring to is Kenneth. We're going to talk more about him because this piece is actually really important for those of you who have joined our CIA investigation, our army of people who are looking into this. But Dorothy also confirmed, remember, we were between two death certificates, one that was in 95 and one that was in 1960. Well, she confirmed that Beryl was indeed alive in the 90s and that she passed a short time before Dorothy's husband, who I believe she said her husband passed in 2000 or 2002. Take a listen.
So was Miss Beryl alive in 2000?
So she was alive in the 90s.
In the 90s.
Which was when I Tim and I were together. So she was definitely alive in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yes.
That's really intriguing, Dorothy.
Yeah.
What a pity you don't have a photograph.
I know, but I am still sort of making inquiries to see if anybody, has a photograph of her.
Someone has a photograph of her. That person is likely Kamala Harris. We're just not going to get it, obviously. And they're probably now freaking out and trying to figure out who else is speaking that would have been familiar with Miss Beryl. As I said, we are one step closer to getting in touch with Dorothy because we have withheld information from the public that she clearly knows. So I know that Dorothy is the real deal. She knew Kenneth Harris. The reason I have kept sort of this enigma of Kenneth Harris is because it's been very difficult for us to find information on him. So now I'm going to open this up to the public, okay? Kenneth Harris is Donald Harris's full brother, okay? So Kenneth Harris and Donald Harris have the same mother and they have the same father. He is Kamala's full uncle. And the reason why he is a person of tremendous interest to me is because, like Donald, there seems to be very little public information available about him. Now, I have told you that the family members that we are speaking to say that Donald was exceedingly private and Kenneth was exceedingly private as well. They were a bit mysterious. They have also confirmed to me that Donald was a full-fledged communist who attended frequent Marxist meetings and basically gave no information about himself ever, okay? Which is why it's of note that Dorothy says she didn't know Donald, but she definitely remembers Kenneth Harris. Take a listen.
I don't know her other son, who is Kamala's father. I know of him, but I have never met him. But of course, her other son, Uncle Kenneth, I have really loving, fun memories of him.
He lived in the village.
Yes, he lived with his mother.
And what became of him? Do you know?
He, as far as I know, he lives in America.
Okay.
Yes.
And Kamala's father.
Yes.
You didn't know.
I have never met him.
You know, it's really funny that in Kamala's book, she speaks about how she was visiting her Uncle Freddie in Harlem, because what I actually know, based on my research and what people are telling me, I can tell you this for a fact, is that Kenneth did indeed go to America. He went to New York. And then he virtually disappeared. So while she was at Harlem, she could have visited maybe her real uncle, Kenneth Harris, that she hasn't mentioned at all. But yes, I am now telling the public what we know about him. His name would be Kenneth Harris Sr., by the way. He has 3 children, and his son's name is Kenneth Harris Jr. And my understanding is that after he went to America, after being quite private, he virtually disappeared. What we also know about Kenneth Harris is that while he lived in Jamaica, he was a police officer. So we are trying to crawl through the database and see if we can find any information on him. Quite interestingly, every single family member that we've tried to look things up on, we've been able to find, except for Kenneth and Donald Harris. That is just remarkable to me. Every indication that I have leads me to believe that these two were working for the government. And I'm not talking about like just working for the government, like the fireman or the post office man. I'm talking about working for the state, okay? Like in a very big way, and were required to be silent and mysterious about their lives. Again, Kenneth Harris moved to New York and then virtually disappeared and lost contact with everything, also exceedingly private. And I should be able to find his naturalization papers. I should be able to find way more about him, considering he moved to America and lives in America. And I keep coming up dry. So I am asking everyone who has been on this journey to get on this and just be conscious, by the way, that, you know, there are a lot of, obviously, Kenneth Harris is a very common sounding name. There are tons of common, you know, you could find a million of them. Try to make sure if you're sending me stuff that you're certain that this somehow relates to Jamaica, because that's where we know that he lived and that he had kids and that he was also married. And somehow there's no record of any of that I can find at this point, but we have the weekend ahead of us. I'd also like to, before the weekend, point out again to you a woman that I deem to be of interest. Now, we have nothing concrete about this woman. I'm simply bringing her to the public's attention again. Just a bit of a gut instinct. This photo of Lady Idris Allen. Her name was Idris Trotman. She married the finance minister of Bustamante. Like Beryl, this woman died in 1995 in Jamaica. She was exceedingly devoted to politics, and she ran a dry goods store and was a supporter, like I said, of Bustamante. The reason why she's been a person of interest to me is that she just kind of fits the bill of everything that Donald Harris speaks about in his Jamaican Online Global piece about his heritage, the dry goods store. It's almost like he's merged different people. And I also think that that woman looks like a light-skinned woman that could be mixed. And so I just am deeming her a person of interest, trying to learn more about her. I just think the more public we are with this research, the more we will be able to discern what is right and what is wrong. She may have no relation whatsoever, but just when I think of this woman saying she looked like Kamala, I see the skin complexion, I see black hair, and I find her to be interesting. I should also, by the way, include for you guys here, but Donald has since been remarried, and his wife works for the World Bank. He is just a very, very mysterious, shady dude. It leads me to believe that Japanese-American journalist, Yoichi Shimatsu, may have been telling the truth. And I have some news. We have been able to establish communication with Yoichi Shimatsu, and he is a willing participant. So we are going to have, by the way, a ton of surprises next week. I'm trying to set up an interview with Yoichi, also somebody else that I'm going to wait and surprise you with next week that you guys are going to be thrilled about, people that have real memories and real knowledge of this very mysterious family. And so we're not going to let up, guys.
Man, prayers for Candace, y'all. Again, y'all, man. I'm telling you, man. Man. Independent media, them Patriots, man. I tell you, we on a different type of timing, man. Prayers for Candace, though, y'all. So y'all, she be stepping, you know. Prayers to the ones that are spreading the truth, man, that exposing these frauds, man. Boy.
If you have information, especially if you are in Jamaica, please share this around. Somebody remembers something. We have to be able to find something about Beryl. Was she using a different name? Who was her sister? You can't just own a store and just completely have no record of your time there. And like I said, it sounds like they had a little bit of wealth. And the only people that could clean up someone's background like this would be a 3-lettered government agency. And so, we are going to have to be quicker than them. And that seems almost impossible. But I think with the entire world now watching and paying attention, it maybe is possible. And with the entire world now looking at Yoichi Shimatsu's piece, his belief, he is certain that Kamala's mom was involved in the MKUltra program, and that is about psychological brainwashing people. Might be something that could lead to a Manchurian-type candidate. I am thinking that everything that he is expressing, particularly about Kamala, her past marriage, probably has a lot of merit to it, but we are going to find out, guys. So, of course, stay tuned. All right, I want to throw it to preborn because the media has dubbed this the abortion election. We have to prove that Brigitte Macron lived as a man, and I just don't remember that being a thing. And then people were going, well, what about his trans nanny? And I'm going, what conspiracy is this? And then they start sending me like mainstream media having covered this. And I'm going, what have I been under a rock? Barack Obama had a trans nanny growing up. Okay, so back in 2012,
Put it on the floor. Put it on the floor. Put it on the floor. Yeah. Oh, Barry. Oh, Barry. A lot of testosterone, man. A lot of testosterone.
The Associated Press interviewed Evie. This is Evie, by the way, not dressed as a woman, but Evie, whatever. Let's just throw it to a clip and let you watch.
66-year-old Evie walks the streets of her Indonesian slum. She lives in a tiny room, subsisting on money she earns from washing clothes. Evie's meager existence belies a startling truth. She was once nanny to President Barack Obama. Evie says she's always been proud that the person she cared for, drove to school, and cooked for ended up being #1 in the world. The future president was just 8 years old at the time. In the late 1960s, his mother, Ann Dunham, married her second husband and moved to Indonesia. Dunham was impressed by Evie's cooking ability and offered her a job. For 2 years, Evie lived with Obama and his family in this Jakarta home, but she thinks the young Obama didn't know one fundamental truth about her. Born a man, Evie identifies as a woman. Evie says Ann Dunham might have known she was transgendered, but she never dressed as a woman in front of young Barry. And it was a time of brutal dictatorship, when soldiers would beat and round up so-called banshees. Evie says soldiers once shaved off her long black hair and burned her with lit cigarettes. Even today, transgendered people have a difficult time in this largely Muslim nation of 240 million people. This representative of an influential Islamic group says transgendered people are wrong, and they deny the teachings of Islam. And so, Evie has struggled through life, saying she's never found suitable work since Obama and his family left the country in the early 1970s, but she says Obama's election gave her a reason to feel proud for the first time in a long time.
Okay, so elsewhere in the AP's investigation, Evie said this. This is, again, directly from the AP article. He was so young, that's referring to Barry Soetoro, and I never let him see me wearing women's clothes, but he did see me trying on his mother's lipstick sometimes. That used to really crack him up. Then, elsewhere in the piece, they confirm that neighbors of Barry Soetoro and Dunham dispute Evie's claims and say that Evie wasn't just wearing lipstick, but did in fact leave the house wearing female clothes. Here is a photo of Evie, by the way, fully dressed up. I'm speechless, I think. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? You know, Evie apparently was very much accepted as a transgender individual by Stanley Dunham, Barack Obama's mother, so much so that she allowed Evie to wear her lipstick, allowed Evie to be around her child wearing her lipstick, and if the neighbors are telling the truth, which I feel like they are, Evie was dressed as a woman around a young Barry Soetoro. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Well, first and foremost, because it's insane. Secondly, because it's a little too much synergy, as I said at the top of the show, between the mysterious upbringing of Emmanuel Macron, okay, and Barack Obama. Just like, for whatever reason, they are entered into these Catholic schools when they're really young, and they have this extraordinarily close relationships with their grandparents, like Emmanuel Macron, the exact same thing. This sort of introduction to transgenderism at an incredibly young age, the entire mainstream media sort of colluding to cover their tracks. What the hell is going on? What's going on? I'm going to ask you guys, seriously, what is going on? Because it's starting to look to me like a program, like a global government program, which potentially is breeding world leaders in very disgusting ways, exposing them to things that they probably should not be exposed to when they're young. I got to be very, very careful when I'm talking about this, because we're talking about the topic of transgenderism. We're talking about Brigitte Macron, who was born a man. If you are at all shocked to hear this, just know that of all of the episodes that YouTube decided to completely remove, it was my interview with the journalist. You should go pursue that. That broke the story about Brigitte Macron. I mean, it's as legit as it gets. Like, take it to the bank. Brigitte Macron was born a man named Michel Trogneau. And I am just seeing, like I said, a little bit too much synergy between all of these leaders and their shady backgrounds, you know, their parents, these broken homes. It leads me to my recent research, which, if it was so crazy, I don't know why the media freaked out about me drawing attention to the fact that there were all of these elite sex cults and people that believed in pedophilia as sacraments. I talked about Frankism. I talked about Jacob Frank. I recommended books for people to read to learn about that, and just mysteriously how they've tried to erase this from history. And I've talked about this for a reason, because you're talking about a religious sex cult or an anti-religious sex cult that believed in breeding and incest and things of this nature. This is a fact of history. And the media got really angry when I shared the fact that this cult, this religion, Frankism, made it all the way to America. It is just an inescapable fact that Louis Brandeis, the Supreme Court justice, who blackmailed himself into the Supreme Court, used blackmail to get onto the Supreme Court, was a Frankist. It's just a fact. You can't just make that go away. What does that signal to you? what is actually happening right now. It's very challenging, I think, for a lot of people.
Someone just commented, Candace Owens for press secretary would be great. Yeah. Put her on board. Press secretary. What do y'all think of that, man? I'm just reading some of the comments that's scrolling in right now. I tell you, man, she is on a different type of timing, man.
To recognize, I know people are reading the Chaos book, learning about the MK Ultra program, learning about the extent that your government will go through to lie and to issue mass psychoses and to change the way fundamentally that you think. I know it's a very challenging thing to kind of have, I guess, your fabric of reality become unwoven, but I think it's really necessary for people to come to terms with the kind of evil that we are getting close to here. Because I just can't keep thinking that this topic that keeps surrounding and following Barry Soetoro is like by accident, like, oh, I'm sorry, like bad luck. Like people are just saying these rumors about you and about your wife. I don't know. Okay. But speaking of gender scandal, it has just recently been announced, it's just a matter of news, that Michelle Obama is hitting the road on behalf of Kamala, per Politico, the vice president.
Big Mike. Hey, Mike.
And Kamala will appear with former President Barack Obama at a Thursday rally in Georgia, followed by an October 26th appearance with former First Lady Michelle Obama, according to a senior campaign official that was granted anonymity to discuss the unannounced campaign plans. The event will mark Michelle Obama's first appearance on the campaign trail for Harris. And, you know,
put your suit. They got to put their capes on, try to be superheroes. They desperate. It's over with, man. Big Mike, Brother Barry, y'all pack y'all bags. Brother Barry, y'all pack y'all bags.
No, I'm not going to issue any comments. Again, I am just here to draw your attention to some things that I would describe as peculiar. Okay, I just don't think it is every day that a mom says, hey, I'm totally fine with like the male nanny dressing up like a woman and putting lipstick on in front of my kid. I just don't think that that's like a totally normal thing. Like I don't feel that way personally, unless there is some sort of a government initiative going on and your kid is kind of a part of some program. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. That's probably not all I'm going to say. I probably am not going to leave it at that. I'm probably going to talk about this extensively on my podcast, and it is probably why I'm always in trouble, because I just don't know how to shut up and let the government just be corrupt. I really suck at just letting the government and the media do their corrupt, disgusting things. Anyways, something on a positive note to tell you that you can support a 7 Weeks coffee, because it is America's.
Shout out to Candace, man. It gets real. I'm telling y'all, man, it gets real. Boy, what do y'all think of that, man? Comment down below. I mean, oof. Oh, man, make sure y'all go out and vote too, man. Too big to rig, man. It's corrupt, y'all. It's corrupt, man. The corrupt scam matrix. That's what we call it. You know, the corrupt scam matrix. But it's finna start even getting realer, y'all. Hope y'all are ready, man. Hope y'all are ready. Tea is spilling. You know. But I don't want another term of Brother Barry, man. I don't, man. I don't want another term for Brother Barry. You know, it just can't happen, man. It just can't happen. You know, we need common sense back, man. You know, and we need that nightmare for the deep state, man. 'Cause it's corrupt, man. And they are killing us. You know, millions are struggling and dying right now. You know, corrupt scam matrix. This lady can't get out of sins. Can't tell us a plan. And we're gonna run off identity politics. And there are some fools out there that whoo, it makes your blood boil, man. People are really out there, you know, voting with emotions and feelings and, you know, could care less about policy. And then be the same ones complaining. Same ones complaining. You know, about these puppet politicians. Again, you might not like the way Trump speaks about things, how he tweets or talks and types. Come to find out, the fella's been right about everything, man. Come to find out, the fella has been telling you what's been going on. And that he's, you know, here to expose the corrupt political world. And this is one reason why they are shaking out their shoes, because he ain't dead. That he isn't in prison. You know, Trump told us he been telling us, man. I wish y'all, you know, listen. Now people are listening, understanding what's actually happening now. And how corrupt it really is. But anyways, let me get off here. Stop talking, man. Godly, I tell y'all, man. Man, it's together. We got to make it too big to rig, man. Y'all go out and vote. Go out and vote. Prayers for Trump. Prayers for you guys and your family. Y'all have an amazing weekend, man. Spend some time with your loved ones. Give them a hug for me. You know, chat it up with them. Laugh. Spend some time, man. Or call or text your loved ones. Check on your people, man. I'll tell you, a lot of things they're not even reporting. But I'll tell you, suicide rates are up, depression, anxiety, it's all up, man. People are struggling. You know, we the people come last, man. It's crazy out here. But I'll catch you beautiful people in the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all. Yeah.